Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Gnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya. Prakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so we're in the 17th chapter. So we're going to discuss about austerity in the three modes. Actually, austerity of body, speech, mind, and then three modes. Deva Dvija Guru Pragna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchate. Austerity of body consists in worship of Supreme Lord, Brahmanas, Guru, superiors like father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. So first we should understand that everybody, Krishna subsequently says that everybody has to do Yajna Dana Tapa. It's required for everybody. So we should all hear with the intention of trying to adopt these things in our life. So first is here austerity of body consists in worship of Supreme Lord, Brahmanas, Guru, superiors like father and mother, and then in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, non-violence. The Supreme Godhead here explains the different kinds of austerity and penance. First, he explains the austerities and penances practiced by the body. One should offer or learn to offer respect to God or to the demigods, the perfect qualified Brahmanas, and the spiritual master, and superiors like father, mother, or any person who is conversant with Vedic knowledge. So this is very important. So here God or demigods, for those who have not come to the platform of bhakti, at least they should respect demigods to start with. Then they can come to the stage of respecting God. And God means Supreme Personality of Godhead, demigods. So one should offer, learn to offer respect to God or demigods, perfect qualified Brahmanas, also Vaishnavas, because perfect Brahmanas are eventually they should become Vaishnavas. And then the Guru and superiors like father, mother, or any person who is conversant with Vedic knowledge. So even for many times we've seen in Krishna consciousness, our own father, mother, they become obstacles on the path of bhakti because they are not conversant with the Vedic knowledge. So it's important that we respect father, mother, or any person who is conversant with Vedic knowledge. And many times devotees end up having to go against father and mother to come to bhakti. It is, it can't be helped. Eventually things will work out, but when they're going through those situations, it's very difficult. And many times father, mother blackmail children, prevent them from actually coming into bhakti. So this is not good. Parents should be aware of the goal of life, what needs to be done, etc. And it's our duty actually to encourage children if they have inclination to go on the path of bhakti. Even we might be doing bhakti, but we still don't have full faith. And we want our children to go through this slaughterhouses, which Prabhupada called the schools, colleges as slaughterhouses, right? Because they are actually slaughtering children because without telling them who they really are and what their goal of life is. And as parents, we have to be, what is our duty as parents? is, we already discussed this. Duty of parents is to make sure that their children, this is their last material birth for their children, or the Atma who appeared in, who taken birth, who taken bodies from them. Right. So it's actually the topmost duty for parents um, to think about this and make sure that if there are children who are actually seriously interested in Krishna consciousness, allow them to pursue that. I've seen devotees who are very concerned about their children. They want them to get material education, go out, and they themselves are struggling so much to manage, their material responsibilities, and at the same time trying to do bhakti. They want to make progress, but it's very hard in this material miserable world because there's no time. People are all running around like headless chicken, but still they push their children in the same direction. It just shows that as parents don't have enough faith in the process. Vyavasayatmika buddhi has not happened. What is Vyavasayatmika buddhi means? Krishna says in the second chapter. Vyavasayatmika buddhi means having faith that by adopting Krishna consciousness, one achieves perfection. So we don't have full faith in Krishna. We are not surrendered to Krishna. So we want to keep one leg here, one leg there. This is our problem. Okay, we can do that with our life, but we should not spoil one more life of one more jiva. Life as in that jiva who is our child can achieve perfection if they have. Of course, see, we have to see the propensities of children. Some children don't have so much propensity for bhakti, or they're not showing it at this point of time. Then okay, you could choose to go with whatever path you want to. While either way, modern schools, colleges are slaughterhouses, right? And previously, people used to choose to do home schooling, right? Even today, I see a lot of parents, yeah, who are aware they're wanting to do homeschooling for their children because they'll avoid, first of all, wasting useless time reading subjects which are of no practical importance. Anyway, all that is required is to prepare some stuff for giving an exam, and now all that open school and open university kind of stuff is available. So people are also willing to take this extra responsibility of, schooling their children at home. Then, of course, giving children the platform. For example, somebody likes music, put them in music classes, dance classes, etc., etc., so that they learn all these arts which are dear to them. They'll get other children association in those places, and they will avoid time, wasting time going to school, college, writing useless tests and exams which are of no consequence, and also thereby in the bargain losing their own existence, losing their understanding of who they really are, and coming under peer pressure, or and which will prevent them from actually following what they want to do as children, right? So parents have to be, but it requires parents to have faith. So I know so many kids who are in touch with me who are so much, I mean, like, uh, one can literally, I mean, see that they are so nice devotees, right? At such a young age. I mean, I know of children the age of, who are in 7th standard, 10th standard, um, even smaller than that, like 5th, 6th standard. Amazing boys, I've seen, and even girls. I mean, there's one which is so small. And I told the parents saying, don't send her to school. Just do homeschooling. You'll make a great devotee of her, right? And then we'll only spoil it by sending them to school and putting them under all this modern pressure, etc., etc. Anyway, so the important point is, as father and mother, we have to first be conversant with Vedic knowledge, goal of life, have faith in Krishna consciousness, and also not get affected by our parents if they are not favorable in Krishna consciousness. We can respect them. We don't have to be Hiranyakashipus. I mean, we can respect them, but not let them come in the way. Right? That's very important. So they should be given proper respect. One should practice cleansing oneself externally and internally, and he should learn to become simple in behavior. So this externally, internally is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Externally is, of course, I mean, we have to keep our body clean. Um, more important is the simple behavior. Actually, today material world is full of people who are so complicated, right? Their thought process is complicated, their approach to life is complicated, everything is complicated. And devotees should simplify their life, both materialistically in terms of number of material objects that we possess, in terms of how we dress, in terms of how we think, in terms of how we associate with other people. Everything should be simple. What we are inside should be what we are outside. It's very, very helpful. It's very helpful in bhakti, right? Yeah. If I'm inside and outside are same, then people know what to expect from me, right? Otherwise, it becomes so unpredictable. Sometimes I've seen devotees, um, like externally they'll say yes, 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 I'll do, and they'll be very nice. But when time comes for service, they're just simply smiling, but they're not actually doing anything meaningful. Right? That means that really what they said, yes, yes, has, I mean, no value for that, right? Because it is just for the sake of saying. And, that's why I was saying that internal humility is more important, right? Internal humility, internal simplicity, these are important. Uh, uh, so humble meaning following instructions, right? That is humility. Simplicity means when I say, yes, I'm going to follow instructions, I should follow. Right? Not that later I put stars apply, like conditions apply. Yeah, I said I'll do, but I thought like this, I thought like that. Not required. Like just simple. If you have some doubt, we should be simple-hearted to just say, okay, I'm an idiot. I don't understand. Can you please just clarify this for me? And it's okay, right? I mean, we're all idiots. That's why we are here in this material world. So we should be simple in behavior. Sometimes devotees, they say one thing here, they say something else somewhere. I mean, all this is not required. We're just complicating life for ourselves. And then we have to keep, covering ourselves up for something we had said before. No, not required. And also this, enviousness. Oh, this devotee, that devotee, don't associate with them. Don't associate. I mean, like some devotees have issues. Um, if somebody else gives service, only I should give. So many things, so many things. We are so complicated. It's very simple. Suppose I want the help of a person, of a devotee full time for my seva, which it should be very explicit thing saying, okay, you're getting services from other person also. Let me speak to that person directly and understand, saying that maybe that person doesn't have help, right? So he or she is taking help from this devotee. So if you are simple in behavior, we will go talk and sort out for ourselves also, instead of normally what we do, we don't try to talk out things with other people, and we can be very nice, humble, talk to them, understand what their situation is, then come to a conclusion, right? What we generally think, no, this devotee always does like this. Always he or she pulls people from under me. This is all just crooked behavior, complicated behavior, not required. Simple. Oh, I need this person 100% of the time, but that person is not available to help me out, but is helping somebody else. Simple thing. Okay, go to the other person and understand what her or his situation is. Why that person is trying to, take help from this devotee only, whom I am also wanting to take help from, and then sort it out. And then it says, no, no, that person also says, no, I also want. Then I also know I also want, then I have to figure some other solution. So generally, I'm just saying this. We have to keep things simple. In software, we used to have this: what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. Simple. No complication. Okay, that should be very, very important. We should not do anything which is not sanctioned by scriptural injunctions, which means we should understand scriptural injunctions. Today, people don't understand scriptural injunctions, which are basically our rules and regulations. Sometimes they understand, sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know. Sometimes even after they know, they don't want to follow, and they end up doing things which is not sanctioned, which is not good at all, which is very bad. Not knowing is still okay, some excuse, but knowing and not following is worse, right? So we should know injunctions and we should follow. And we should not speculate. Many devotees say, like somebody was saying, like I was requesting one devotee saying that, in one group, did not want some other type of messages to be posted. I had a intention of creating that group and I wanted only specific type of messages to be posted. Then I requested the devotee saying that, can you not please post these kind of messages here? It's just diluting the purpose of the group. Then, I got some kind of Mayavad kind of explanation, right? Like, um, saying no, I feel like this, I want to share these kind of messages in all groups. I said that's fine, but this group is not intended for that, right? It's just simply not wanting to take some particular rules and regulations and wanting to act very independently. It's not required, right? We should understand, we should try to understand situations. We should not indulge in sex outside of married life, but sex is sanctioned in the scripture only in marriage, not otherwise. Okay, and of course, this also has to be very clearly understood. Sex is sanctioned in the scripture only in marriage for begetting children, not for sense gratification. Right. So Prabhupada has told this many places, right? So there's no sense gratification. This is only the intention of this. Supreme Lord has given this opportunity for. This is restricted sense gratification for grihasthas, but with the intention of only engaging in that when children are to be produced. If it is done as a matter of sense gratification, then it's sense gratification, right? And in fact, it is not considered part of the regulative principle if we break this. Not otherwise. So this is called celibacy. These are penances and austerities as far as the body is concerned. And these might look like four very simple words, not easy for everybody to follow, but it's easy for somebody who wants to follow. It's not easy for somebody who doesn't want to follow. And non-violence, Prabhupada is not explained here, but in other purports he has explained. Not doing explicit violence to other jivas, like killing animals, etc. Not doing violence to other jiva is also, so if we do violence, then it's called jiva himsa. And if you do jiva himsa, we can't progress in spiritual life. And that doesn't mean that we get all the animals and try to take care of them, make pets in our house, etc., etc. No, all animals, especially people love to keep dogs inside the house. Vedic knowledge says otherwise. Vedic knowledge says all animals have to be outside the house. They can be taken care of, they can be given prasadam, etc., but they have to be outside the house. They can't come inside the house. It's not cleanliness. It's not part of clean, because they'll go and touch something, do something. They're unclean. You can't let them inside the house, especially where there is Lord. Meaning house is where the Lord is present, right? Because house is a temple. But we shouldn't be doing violence, right? We can give food, but we should have proper place for proper, restrictions and all that. We can give food to animals, etc. And more importantly, we should stop doing violence to other human beings by not giving them Atma Jnana. So we have to distribute this knowledge. Prabhupada says that if we don't help people to come to Krishna consciousness, that is violence. So it's described in another purport. So these things are important to be followed, right? Austerity of body. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat vadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. Okay, one should speak in such a way as to one should not speak in such a way as to agitate the minds of others. Of course, when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students, but such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students if he will agitate their minds. So this is a very important instruction for people engaged in bhakti. Okay, so in general, there is something called as authority. Authority means adhikara. Adhikar. So somebody who's been given an authority to speak, to correct, to guide. He or she can do that, right? And in that scenario, he or she should speak the truth for the instruction students. For example, some student is doing something wrong. It is the responsibility of the so-called guru to actually correct, right? To correct that person, saying that, see, you're doing this, this is wrong. For example, I keep telling people saying Hari Bol is not, Hari Bol is an order, right? If you want to tell, if you're very happy, if you want to say, you can just say Hare Krishna, or you can say Hari Hari, right? But Hari Bol means actually I am not telling Hari, I am telling the other person to say Hari. Right, and it can be done to people who are under our care, right? The Hari Bol. So it becomes an instruction, right? So we should be careful also about all these normal common usages in ISKCON, which unfortunately today nobody is thinking about. Yesterday somebody was saying that, for example, when we are offering obeisances, we should not show our leg towards any Vaishnava, actually, especially if there are senior Vaishnavas, gurus, or Prabhupads, Murti, or the deities. Our leg should not be pointing towards them. Right, so we can tell. So, for example, if I look at this, and also when the altar is closed, we should not offer obeisances. Now, if you see these things happening in temple or some setup, right? If the devotees who are doing it are under our guidance, care, then we should absolutely tell them. Right? Knowing that if something is wrong, we should not hold back, saying that, oh, what will he think? What will his sentiment? How will his sentiment be affected? We are not here to manage sentiments. We are here to practice rules properly, so that then that person will actually become eligible, right, to make progress. But here Prabhupada is saying such a speaker should not speak to those who are not his students. Like I said, if that person is not under my care, then it's not my job to go and tell them, right? Because it might just offend, right? Then what we should do is we should find a local authority, temple authority, or we should find that devotee's authority if we are aware, and inform, so that the wrong practice can be corrected. But we might not have the authority to actually go and tell them then and there. So this is very important. And those who are guiding others, it's your responsibility to correct. It's your responsibility to correct. Otherwise, don't take the position of guru. And yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said everybody has to become guru, right? Because preaching means being a guru, right? Of course, we don't think of ourselves as guru, but when we're giving instructions, guidance, helping people out, that is the role of a guru. That's the role of a teacher. And in doing so, it might agitate the mind. It might agitate the mind, and it should agitate the mind. If the disciple or the follower is sincere, then that person will correct himself or herself. If they're not sincere anyway, what is the use, right? Because Prabhupada said sincerity is the basic thing, sincerity and seriousness. So if you want to make progress in spiritual life, then we should be ready to accept authority. If we think that I'm going to hear, but I'm going to follow whatever I want, then we are really in trouble. Right? I mean, we should remember Tulsi Maharani had to come down to the material world because Radharani cursed her because she transgressed authority in the spiritual world. And why we are expected to follow authority here? Because otherwise, in spiritual world, it's completely driven by authority. It's completely driven by authority. Nobody can just walk up to Radharani and say, like, give me some service or something. No. Yeah, I mean, you have authority, and it just works that way. You have to just go to your authority, and authority will say, okay, see, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this. Okay, that's it. That's it. We think that spiritual world means we can just go crazily do whatever we want. No, we can't. It's completely driven by rules, right? So we have to understand that. And today I see so many devotees, they don't want to follow authority. They just want to be independent. They don't follow authority of Prabhupada in his books. They don't follow authority of Guru from whom they've taken initiation. They don't follow local authorities. They don't follow anybody. They just want to do things their own way, whimsical. they will not be able to enter Goloka or Vaikuntha or wherever. They'll not be able to enter spiritual world. And when we tell this to people, people somehow don't seem to understand the importance of this, that we have to have local authorities. We have to take guidance from them. If we think that we are above all authorities, then we don't, we're not eligible to enter the spiritual world. So this is very, very important. So we should not think, oh, I have to be pleasing. So let me just be smiling, all mistakes that happen. People are just doing wrong things today and nobody's correcting them. Nobody's correcting them. Right. And people who are preachers, who are in, who have taken up the roles of guiding the society are remaining silent. By doing this, we are doing great disservice to Prabhupada. I mean, we are just simply just ignoring all these instructions that Prabhupada has written in his purports. Right? Of course, if somebody is at a Uttama Adhikari stage, then he doesn't even see mistake around him. Right? Then it's fine. I mean, it's a prerogative of Uttama Adhikari, whether he wants to come down to Madhyama Adhikari and advise or whether he'll just see everybody as devotee of Krishna. But we should not artificially imitate that. At the same time, we don't have any right to simply go right, left, and center, keep correcting everybody, whom we see. That's not required either, right? But forums have to be created. Attempt has to be made to correct people so that it can be, the society can go in the right direction. And in doing so, we can be pleasing. It's not like, we don't own anybody. We don't own anybody in the sense we can't just say, because I'm your guru or guide or mentor or whatever, you have to do this. No, we are not here to order ourselves. I mean, Prabhupada says, right, like, master of all, lord of everything that you survey. No, it's not that, right? We should be pleasing, we should be humble, but we have a role to play. And I mean, many a times my Guru Maharaj is only Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, he tells when he's giving initiation, saying that, see, it's a very difficult task for a Vaishnava. Because Vaishnavas by nature have to be humble. And today, and here I'm sitting on the Vyasasana and telling, giving instructions to all of you disciples. But it's a role that I'm playing and I need to play it properly. Right? So it's a big responsibility to guide others. So we have to be very, very, we have to be, we should not hesitate speaking the truth, but we should speak the truth in a pleasing way, in a beneficial way, helping people. Sometimes, I've seen many devotees guiding others, just pointing errors, mistakes, without actually helping them understand why it is not beneficial for them, or how by following it properly, it will be beneficial for them. And see, all devotees are not like, generally they're sincere and want to make progress. So when we help them understand, tell them in a way that they can understand, okay, this is beneficial for me, and not just saying, okay, this is a rule, just follow it. Some things are like that. For example, if somebody asks saying that why 4 regulative principles, that is just there. That's what it is. We cannot question it. But other things, as much as possible, everything can be explained. Everything can be explained, right? And to help people understand, saying that, see, this is for your benefit. And in general, we should not agitate others. So, for example, if you're simply, we are people whom materially, for example, right? On material terms, we agitate people simply for no reason. I mean, it's not, we should not bother about material things around us, but we simply poke our nose into everything material and we just agitate ourselves. I'll tell you, I'll give you an example, right? For example, say I'm a little bit of I'm a stickler, right? Like, so if I'm given a broomstick and I have to sweep, then it has to happen perfectly, right? And if somebody else is doing it now, and I keep seeing, okay, see there, they left this, here there's a piece of, dirt there. Now, yeah, and when you see, why you're not cleaning properly, this, that, and all that, it'll simply agitate others. You can try to say, if it is, okay, this is Krishna's temple, can you do it nicely, etc., etc. We can say, suppose say it's not working out, if that person is not understanding, just take the broom and sweep it. Let that person do the service, and after that you go and sweep it. Right? As in, if it is not connected to temple or something, and it's just general some stuff. For example, people are so picky about, say, okay, clothes have to be folded in this way only. It has to be stacked up this way only. And if it is not done that way, they just get agitated. They agitate others. I mean, these things we can. It's important. Everything has to be done nicely, etc. But not at the expense of getting agitated, affecting our Krishna consciousness by getting too much involved in material things which are not directly related to bhakti. That way, we'll never get out of right and wrong of this world, dvandva, duality of this world. In everything, we'll find something right, something wrong. If it is it important really? If it's important, let's bother. If it's not important, just leave it. It's okay. We cannot fix the whole world anyway. And what is more important is to fix Krishna consciousness than trying to fix unnecessary or unimportant material things. Some might be important that we should give attention. Some which are not important, we just don't bother. This is penance as far as talking is concerned. So we have to be really, really concerned about what words, what are we speaking, what is coming out of my mouth. Is it useful to somebody? Is it meaningful? Is it simply, am I just blabbering? Am I just talking because I want to talk? How many times in a day am I hurting people? What reasons? So many of these things. And the important thing I'm saying is, while it's important to be pleasing, it cannot be at the sacrifice of truth, of right and wrong, especially when it comes to bhakti. And these people get confused here, saying that, oh, I'm so humble. How can I just point mistake of others? If I'm guiding somebody, I have to. Otherwise, I'm not doing my job. Otherwise, I don't have to. It's not my job. But I can still, if I have concern for Prabhupada's ISKCON, then I can go and tell some authority so that it can get corrected. If I have no concern for Prabhupada's ISKCON, then why am I in ISKCON? Anyway, besides that, one should not talk nonsense, useless stuff, material stuff, prajalpa. It's useless. It just contaminates the consciousness. Then we cannot even chant properly because all day long we talked so much of nonsense. Process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by scriptures. And for us, scriptures mean even one statement like this by Prabhupada is scripture for us. It is scripture, not different. One should at once quote from scriptural authority to back up what he's saying. So the best way of actually preaching to somebody is either these statements, which are translations, or these statements. All of them are authority, right? And it's not required to tell something which is not, in Prabhupada's books, just speculation. That's not required. That's not correct. At the same time, such talk should be very pleasurable to the ear. Again, this in conjunction with the teacher speaks has to be taken in consideration, because I know a lot of devotees who are very, very concerned about just hearing pleasurable stuff in classes, but not worry about instructions. So it has to be balanced. Many times, things which are very pleasurable don't create any change in us. There's no transformation in us. We're just happy. We are like enjoying. I enjoyed the class. Okay, that's great. I mean, that's the idea of Krishna consciousness. But did you bring about any change? Was there any instruction valuable for you to apply so that you can actually make progress? Or did you become more dear to the Lord? I mean, have you, made progress in terms of your love for Krishna? Some transformation has to happen. Otherwise, just hearing for the sake of hearing or for the pleasure of hearing is useless. By such discussions, one may derive the highest benefit and elevate human society. There's a limitless stock of Vedic literature, and one should study this. See? This is penance of speech. If we don't study this, then our mind will be filled with unwanted material things, and we'll speak that only. Like Prabhupada said here, talk nonsense. We'll talk nonsense. So, I mean, these three verses and the next one is even more difficult, austerity of mind, right? Body, speech, mind, austerity. This is very, very important for devotees. And we have to try and implement this. It's very difficult because of our conditioning. But, we should try to follow this. So I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, you can kindly ask.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Yes, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's okay, Preet. Yeah, okay, Akshay, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji, so you said that when the altar is closed, we should not offer obeisances. So
Yes.
when we get inside, like, and the altar is closed, then we should not like fold
Yeah.
hands also, or
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very simple thing to understand. Krishna is a person, right? And suppose say you are, and Krishna is omniscient, right? Krishna knows when you're folding hands, when you're offering obeisances, everything he knows, and he pays attention, right? Suppose say you're eating your food, right? And a phone rings, or I come and ring the bell on your door. What happens? You're disturbed, right?
yeah,
Lord is whatever he's doing when the altar is closed. That means either Lord is resting, Lord is accepting bhoga, he's doing something, some personal work, right? And that's the reason why the altar was closed in the first place, right?
correct.
So why do we want to disturb him?
Got it.
And we disturb mainly because we are self-centered. We don't think about the Lord. We think about ourselves, right? So we should do both. Rules have been given to help build Krishna consciousness, not blindly just follow everything without even applying, anything. But at the same time, we should not be whimsical. So it's been very clearly said that when the altar is closed, we don't offer obeisances. So that is why Prabhupada's altar is normally kept open, so that when we come, we offer at the Prabhupada's altar. And when we offer at the Prabhupada's altar, in case we are sheltered or we are initiated, we first offer the Guru Pranam Mantra, then Prabhupada Pranam Mantra, and then wait for the altar to open. And of course, when the altar is closed, we can also offer obeisances to all the Vaishnavas there. Not when the altar is open. This is another thing that devotees don't know. In front of the Lord, nobody else should be offered obeisances unless Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastra, like a guru or very senior Vaishnava whom we respect as equal to the Lord, then we can offer. Anyway, these Vaishnava etiquettes and all, slowly I will create different forum scenarios where I'll start explaining some of these, but yeah.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Prabhuji,
Okay.
early morning, how do we open the altar, Prabhuji?
How do you
Because
open the altar? We just, yeah.
because night we have closed the altar, but morning we have to wake up Krishna. So how to do that, Prabhuji?
Yeah. So normally we should have a bell, or we clap 3 times,
Okay, Prabhuji.
and it should be at a fixed time.
Okay.
It should be at a fixed time. If it is not at a fixed time, we should at least, like ask for forgiveness, saying that, I'm not able to. And that is the reason why we don't encourage deity worship at home, because grahasthas they're not so disciplined, right? 4:30 means 4:30 Mangalarti.
Okay.
And it is 365 days a year, till the end of our life. So if deities are there, then no question of any compromise, as much as possible, right? Unless we are sick, for example, right? And if you are the only person who is worshipping the deity, then we should not have deities at home. Very, very wrong thing to do, right? Because we will not follow any of this. We will just be very careless and casual with our deities, right? Like like some plaything. No, so we have to be very careful. So, but before we open, like I said, either ring a bell. If ideally there should be bell outside, or ganta, whatever, right? Or clap 3 times.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yeah, Preeti Mataji, you were asking.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. You explained very beautifully how we have to, as long as a guru, we have to instruct. As long as somebody is taking shelter under us, like they are under our guidance, we have to like instruct them, and we cannot everybody because they'll feel offended. So there's so many things we have to even tell them in a way, instruct in a way that they understand.
Yeah.
And very beautifully how to also like deity worship, how to how to offer. We should not offer obeisances. We should not show our food to like. So everything very beautifully. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. My question was, why did Radharani curse Tulsi Maharani?
Okay, that's some other time. Okay, so just briefly, because she transgressed Radharani's instruction and spoke to Krishna. Very brief answer, but I will explain when Tulsi Saligram Vivaha comes, then I'll explain. more detail. But you can read up. I mean, it's there on the internet. But Radharani, Tulsi Maharani was not supposed to go and speak to Krishna. And Krishna does all kinds of things. So you have to be very careful when in the spiritual world. Krishna has his own plans. But we have to serve, of course. I mean, it depends on what bhava we enter Goloka. If we are entered as gopis, then Radharani is our boss. So anyway, I mean, these things are very high rasa. We'll get to that slowly.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।